everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Up-Beet Dietitians podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode, a new diet review. In fact, that's what we got going on today. Highly requested one. When I was making the outline, I was already getting fired up. So we might have what do they call me? Crazy Hannah or something,
Oh, yeah.
according to our analytics of what Google searches there are about us.
Yeah.
I might bring her out today. We'll see what happens. But we're going to go over what GOLO is. And then we've got a good long list of all the issues with it and why it probably isn't going to be the anti-diet solution they say it is.
It's a crazy claim to make.
Insane.
Yeah. Let's start off with what GOLO is, though. So it's a weight loss supplement, also sometimes known as like GOLO release, that claims to help with glucose control, insulin resistance, and hormone balance because everyone's all about regulating those hormones these days.
Yeah.
Which insulin is also a hormone, so that's included in there already, and glucose is managed also with hormones. So it's mostly just like a hormone regulatory weight loss supplement.
Yeah.
That's what it is, or claims to be.
That's like the main thing they sell is the GOLO release supplement. And they say that with a purchase of the supplement, you also get their what do they call it? It's a diet plan. Oh, the GOLO for Life plan.
Okay.
And I think that also includes like membership. They have what's called the Smart Card, which basically is my plate, essentially, is what it looks like, but like a little bit different. But yeah, the supplement is the main, like that's what you think of when you think of GOLO as a supplement. But with that order, you do get some guidance on what to actually eat, which we'll get to what that all entails in a minute. But they say that you can purchase 1, 2, or 3 bottles of the supplement, quote, depending on how much weight you need to lose. So like you get to pick what the right dosage is.
Yeah. How would you know? Like,
did you make the supplement? It's crazy. We'll get to that in the cons later too, but like it's so unclear like when to take it, how much to take, how long to take it for,
what is happening. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Should
we get into the science behind it, how they claim GOLO works?
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so like Emily said, it's all about like hormone balancing, glucose, insulin resistance, all that good stuff. They have on their main homepage that lists 4 different main functions of release, the supplement, including fat burning, which underneath fat burning, it says insulin resistance. So I guess those 2 things go together according to them. Hunger control, which underneath it says glucose control, immune function, which says immunity health below it, and then weight loss, hormone balance. They just like picked 8 buzzwords and threw them in these little hexagons with a picture of the supplement right in the middle.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah. So they say that you take 1 release, which is again the supplement, with your meals. Make sure you're eating balanced meals though, and eliminate diet foods, which we'll get to as the very first con here in a minute. They are so adamantly not a diet. They say it's going to be so much more sustainable this time. They even call out like other diets out there and how they're better than them because they're all about metabolism and, you know, slow, steady fat loss and maintaining muscle, which all those things are very important for weight loss to be maintained. But this is such a random supplement with all these things that we have no evidence to suggest that they actually do what it claims to do.
Something I'll note just in the same paragraph is like you just listed, they said eliminate diet foods, but in the previous sentence, they say eliminating conventional starvation dieting, which is very confusing when you're like, we're not going to make you starve and do the conventional dieting, but you need to eliminate diet foods when there's like not really
any restriction.
Yeah, it's very confusing what they're recommending.
Yeah.
Besides taking the supplement.
That's the main thing. because like the diet plan, and there's so little info about what it actually entails. It just says like healthy foods, no restriction, all foods fit, but like it doesn't actually tell you like what that means. And I guess I'll say this. I was gonna say the studies also are of course funded by them, and also the participants are doing exercise and diet changes. So that's probably
So,
why they're losing weight.
yeah, quite a few factors that might affect that. So it's tough to say it's just the supplement.
Well, one last thing before we get into our list of cons. I did include on our little outline here a list of the supplement facts, which we can put on the screen here for those of you watching on YouTube. So it has magnesium, zinc, and chromium. Those are like the main ingredients. And then they have a proprietary blend.
I just knew
Had
as
to
soon
see
as
it
I
coming.
saw that, I was like, interesting.
Yeah, we've discussed these before. This is basically when a supplement company can say it's their own fancy dancy mishmash of ingredients, and there's no one to check them on that and say if it's actually true. So, in their proprietary blend, they've got all kinds of like herbs, berberine, which is claimed to be nature's Ozempic as of lately. I feel like we should address that in a future episode.
Yeah.
Apple extract, and a few other various like barks and leaf extracts. Again, I'll put it on the screen if you want to see it on YouTube, but they claim that there are lots of studies supporting the use of these individual ingredients, and that may be true. I'm not going to read all, I didn't read all those studies. I didn't read all 100 whatever they said that there is. That doesn't mean though that A, that's actually in this supplement, because it's proprietary blend. We have no idea if it's actually what's in there.
They
Or
don't need to tell the
B,
truth.
exactly. No one is like checking them on that. Or that it's going to work in this context at this dose with these other ingredients in this supplement.
Yeah. Where there might be like contraindications between the two of them. It could potentially affect like medications, like, and I just checked their website because whenever we talk about supplements, we always talk about third-party testing.
Mm-hmm.
And they state that we perform extensive third-party finished product testing on every lot that is produced. But they don't say who is doing the third-party testing. And then they just go on to say like the supplements are manufactured in the US. So you could say you are, but typically when people are paying for the third-party testing, when there's a non-biased source testing if their supplement label is correct, people are paying quite a bit for that. So they like to name drop who is doing the testing, like NSF, Consumer Lab. Yeah. That will be on the front.
Exactly.
Sure.
I found when I was digging in like the Q&A section, they said that release is made in the USA at an FDA registered pharmaceutical facility, which is NSF International and Organic certified and is only available through GOLO. So like their facility where they're processing it seems to be following the rules evidently. But again, that does not mean that the actual supplement itself was tested. It just means they're not like
you have to send
murdering people in their facility or something.
Great.
And there's no rats like on the line evidently, but like otherwise we don't know what's in the supplement actually matches the label.
Yeah. Let's just start off with the anti-diet claim, because that's always what we're all about. That we're in that space, so it's always interesting when someone, let's say like Noom, blast from the past, even though they're still around, but
Unfortunately,
when they claim to be anti-diet, it's crazy. So they start off on their website, they're saying like, in the last 10 years, dieters have spent over $600 billion on diets and diet products, yet we keep getting heavier.
like,
and people have been dieting for longer than 10 years, we'll know.
That's true. But like this
like,
could be a true claim. Like we know that diet culture is worth billions of dollars, yada, yada, yada. So like this part is true, but they're selling a solution to it that is just going to make that statistic go higher.
Yeah. Because all they're really selling is the supplement. Like we talked about, they're very unclear about the dietary restrictions, physical activity levels that you should be implementing. The studies that have been done have shown increased physical activity levels and changes in dietary habits, which can have a very dramatic effect on someone's body. That's just like science.
Revolutionary.
Crazy. So it's very interesting that they're like talking about what they're pushing in. Like, people are spending all this money on it, spend money on this weight loss supplement
Right.
because it's different. But I want to talk about the shade. Ozempic is
I
very
love
I
the shade
didn't know
thrown.
this. I had no idea there was beef. Well, I'm sure there was. I didn't know they were name dropping now.
Like
On
literally they call
websites.
out like Ozempic, Wegovy, Weight Watchers, Noom.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And they say they're drastic measures, which they are. They're not wrong there.
And this is like prime example of like we're at a place now where most of us know that restrictive, ridiculous diets don't work. Like at this point, a lot of us are understanding of that. And
Mhm.
so what's happening is these companies are getting super duper sneaky and they're using that anti-diet language because they know that if they don't, we're not going to fall for it. But with this, it's very convincing. It's like diets don't work. That's, you know, when you do these diets, you're just getting heavier, your metabolism's getting all effed up. You've probably tried Noom and Weight Watchers. That's why you're here now. We have the solution to help you because those weight loss programs are not as good as ours. But at the end of the day, it's all just another diet. It's all the same.
It's crazy. I did not see this the first time when I was looking through this. The in bold on their website where it says you have the willpower to reach your goals, but the drug and crash diet companies want to make you dependent on them for the rest of your life. They have hacked the language.
Like, bitch, you're a supplement.
Whoever's on their marketing team knows everything we are saying,
Mm-hmm.
but then they're just disregarding that. Like what they're
Right.
selling. Like, how can you say these things and then look back? Like, I know obviously it's for money, but like from a moral, like saying you have a good moral compass, code of ethics or whatever that we unfortunately have to have.
Unfortunately.
Um, how could you say these things and be
Right.
like supplements that aren't
It's
regulated and like
they get lots of
uh,
kudos for their marketing.
I'm impressed. They did
Very
their
impressed.
research.
They did the research. They know their target audience.
Yes. And like if you're reading through this, you're like, wow,
They're
snaps
speaking
to
to
them,
me.
they're getting it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in this little snippet we included, they call out here. I'm just going to read it verbatim because it's very, very funny. So it says, quote, with GOLO, you don't need to take drastic measures like Wegovy or Ozempic or weight loss surgery and risk muscle loss, hormone imbalance, and accelerated aging. Dieting this way does not address the root problem, slows metabolism, and you will likely gain the weight back. If you are on a GLP-1 drug now, GOLO can help manage the side effects and keep the weight off. So they even say that they're a solution to those who are taking Ozempic or Wegovy and have that fear of regaining the weight. They know exactly who their audience is. It's very impressive.
Yes. They put a lot of money into marketing and it's probably paying off, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, I get asked about this all the time. People are always asking about GOLO. So it's clearly getting out there. On a similar front, they
Oh.
also call out new and Weight Watchers. So I'm going to quote this one
Yeah.
too. They say, quote, Weight Watchers, Noom, and other apps and online weight loss companies charge you every month and make it hard to cancel. But when you stop paying, you lose all the information you relied on. And now they want you to add prescription drugs because they know their programs don't work. Like these are all the things that we say. Like
They hacked our podcast. They listened to our podcast and they're like, this is what we're gonna include. It's kind of like scary
it's
how good their marketing is.
they're literally so right about all these things. Like
Yeah.
that is why Noom and Weight Watchers have these drugs because their programs don't work. Like they're totally right about that.
I'm just
I'm
like in a state of
impressed.
shock.
I'm impressed.
Like they're clearly listening. It's
Yeah.
just we're not ending up in the same place.
Yep.
But kudos
This
to them for
keeps
calling them
happening though. We
out.
keep doing these diet reviews where they're saying things like this when
They're
they're clearly a
evolving.
weight loss. Yes. When they're
Yes.
clearly all about weight loss. It's insane. Like they're all catching on and shifting the language, making it just so much more confusing than it already was
Mhm.
for poor people who are stuck in this diet mentality.
Yeah.
It's
It's crazy.
crazy.
I
I
like
mean, like no one talks about this. I've not heard anyone
no,
talk about this part of GOLO yet. Like this like sneaky
no.
anti-diet stuff.
Yeah. And it's like very well thought out and
Very
very,
blatant.
yeah.
So that's problem one. We've got a whole slew of other things wrong with GOLO.
Yeah.
But I think the most glaring issue from our point of view as non-diet dietitians is the co-opting of the anti-diet language. So
Yes.
insane and so obvious. If you've got a trained eye like us, it's very obvious. But if you don't, it's just genius marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. Our next issue is about the diet and food plan, which confuses me because I don't understand what I was looking at.
So
Or,
you buy the supplement, either like one,
yes.
2 or 3 bottles, depending on how much weight you want to lose. You get to decide. And then apparently with that, you get this plan that tells you what to eat, what not to eat, which is funny because they're not a diet. They're little like my plate-esque looking chart. I think they have
Oh,
like
I
a
see, I see.
I think the My GoLo is like their membership that has like recipes and online resources, that kind of thing. And then again, like the smart card, which is like the My Plate guy. But of course, this is not individualized in any way. Every
No.
single person gets the same plan with the supplement that they have to self-assess like what amount is right for them to take. So like there's no guidance here whatsoever. And evidently they also have what they call the jumpstart plan, which is a detox
I
because
s-
they're not a diet, but they have a detox 7-day
everyone
reset.
everyone needs that. Like dieting 101, if you're gonna sell one, you need a week detox. It's
Yes.
just everyone has that at every point.
8 days, absolutely not. seven
No,
days, cha-ching.
7 days the best marketing.
That's exactly how long your body needs to be detoxing before you jump into the next phase of the plan.
And then they're like saying in the detox, because they're not a diet, that you'll eat a variety of quote unquote superfoods that will help detox and reduce inflammation and help you identify foods that might be sabotaging your weight loss efforts.
AKA, you shouldn't eat those foods because they're going to make you gain weight. But we're not a diet, though.
Not a diet.
Not a diet.
The word also sabotage like kind of makes me giggle. Like that's we're so dramatic. We're
GOLO is nothing if not dramatic. Like the way
like
they're like are so hard on the GLP-1s and new Weight Watchers stealing your money, sabotaging your weight
and
loss.
I'm like looking at your background, like the bananas are sabotaging you. Like
Right.
you like, oh my gosh.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. We talked about it a little bit already, but they, of
Mm-hmm.
course, in once again, classic diet fashion, they have all these studies to back up their claims, trying to prove to the consumer who doesn't know any better that they're the most scientific, evidence-based product out there. I mentioned the studies that talk about all the different individual ingredients in the proprietary proprietary blend. Probably is very bland.
Yeah.
But they also have a few studies that are about the release supplement specifically. But of course, these are all funded by GOLO. Who else is going to pay for GOLO to test these supplements individually? So, first red flag right there.
And like maybe you're like, well, who it like the question like who would fund it? So like they have to fund their own research. That's like just anytime it comes to research, it's a huge conflict of interest. If like say I was doing research on if lactose intolerance gets worse with anxiety and it was funded by
Lactaid.
Lactate. Yeah. That's going to be very interesting because they will benefit from saying, oh, lactose is, you don't digest it as well if you're anxious. And we're all anxious now in this world. But like, that's a huge, they will benefit directly from the results of that. And also, when you're pouring money into something, sometimes the results can get construed, or we just present them in a way that doesn't make them appear in a way that they actually are. You would be very surprised, very, very surprised how many times research studies, not you, Hannah, you know, you guys would be
I'm
surprised.
shocked.
You guys would be surprised how easily research gets misconstrued in like news articles, just like being presented on, like in presentations. Like it's very, unfortunately, easy to manipulate it to say kind of what you want unless you're reading the study directly and you know kind of what to look for.
Right. That's the thing too, is like not to make anyone feel like they're dumb or less than, but the average person does not really know how to read evidence, scientific evidence. Like
Yeah.
we talk about this all the time. Like we went to school and we had classes like literally just about learning how to read evidence, which not everyone does that, obviously. So even if you're trying your best to understand the science, you may just not quite know what you're looking at. And these companies know that, so they don't have to put much effort into explaining, or they can just benefit from using their own funds to do these studies and then say that it's like the best supplement ever, even though the only ones checking in on that claim is them.
Yeah.
This is just a classic supplement story, is what we always talk
It
about.
is, but they're evolving with their marketing.
They're evolving.
That's the biggest thing that's honestly changing, which has
I
been
wonder, I wonder if like AI has like any role in this. If like the marketing team like types in like
I would not be
anti-diet, intuitive
surprised.
eating, because how else
Oh,
would they know
it'd
what
be
to
like
say?
it'd be AI is so smart. It can
Right.
AI can write like blog posts. You can
Yeah.
easily be like write an excerpt advertising a like non-diet approach to weight loss with
They can probably throw in like eating disorder in there and like get those words.
yep. Oh yeah. They're 100% using that.
Okay. I no longer am proud of the marketing team. I'm proud of AI advancements,
Which is scary.
which is very scary. Let's go on to the next one. We've touched on this a little bit, but the supplement is advised to be used for like 3 to 6 months for weight loss. And the studies show about that time frame as well. But of course, weight maintenance is not addressed. Like we do not know the long-term effects of this, but we do know historically the long-term outcomes of dieting, which this absolutely is one. And so it's pretty safe to assume that a lot of people who lose weight from GOLO will likely experience the same outcomes as those who lose weight from Weight Watchers, Noom, GLP-1s, calorie counting. Weight regain is just usually part of the equation.
And that is so confusing because there's just so many like question marks for like how much to take. And then they're like 3 to 6 months. And then like, what do you do? What most likely happens is like if you stop taking it, then you gain the weight back. You're like, oh, I have to restart it. And then it's that cycle of yo-yo dieting, which
Yep.
GoLo claims not to be because they are not a diet.
They are not a diet. I don't know if I saw the word lifestyle change in here, glaringly obvious anyway, but I'm sure it's in there. Very similarly, the dosage is, like I said, not really personalized. I even saw in the Q&A section something that said, quote, you can reduce or increase the dosage depending on your weight loss goals and metabolic health status. As if A, people are realistic with their weight loss goals. We know they're not historically. People have very drastic weight loss goals because we are told that thinner is better. We got to get there as fast as possible.
Mhm.
And B, this assumes that people know their metabolic health status.
I don't know. I know my metabolic status. What
What
does
does that
that
even mean?
mean? Like, is it like when people say they have a fast metabolism or like a slow metabolism?
Right.
Is it like if you have a hormonal chronic disease, like diabetes? Like what does this mean?
But like, even if like you feel like your metabolism is, let's say, stunted, like I have a slow metabolism. If I even look at chocolate, I gain 10 pounds. Is that actually what's happening? Or have you just been dieting for the last 30 years? And so your body is trying to do what it does best, which is keep you safe. And you're just not quite sure how to overcome that because all you've known is dieting for all of your adult life. Bottom line with this one is
Yeah.
like, this is going to be so easily abused and like overused because they don't give any clear guidelines. They have
Yeah.
like one little thing that says like one capsule with a meal or something, but they say
Mhm.
this too: if you want to take more, you can if you have bigger weight loss goals that you are pursuing.
Yeah. And it could be a very dangerous, slippery slope of like, oh, this isn't working well enough. I have
Yep.
to take more. And then you take more and more and more. And we don't know how this supplement is going to affect your body from a
Right.
long-term standpoint or even short-term.
Even short term. Yeah. The proprietary blend, you just don't know. We always bring up price, of course. And of course, this one is very expensive. Oh, I just scrolled a little bit further on the website and they have something called Go Digest, which I did not see until just now.
Oh, what is that?
So, along with Release, which we talked about already, they have Go Digest, which is helping with that connection from your brain and your gut, your immunity, your satiety. Oh my gosh, controlling cravings and emotional eating. GOLO is going to cure your emotional eating.
What? Because a supplement won't fix a mental issue.
Also, emotional eating is capitalized. And so, like the ease and emotional and eating. So I feel like they are using AI and just copying and pasting. Emotional eating has no need to be capitalized in this use.
No, they're just throwing in buzzwords.
This just in, like you are seeing how I react when I see these things live for the first time.
It's crazy.
What? I've never seen a supplement claim to help control emotional eating.
This is kind of getting out of control. They're like claiming a little bit too many things.
Too many things.
One but
Yeah. Okay. So one bottle is 90 capsules. Okay. Honestly, I was reviewing, I made a blog post just today on colostrum supplements. This is nothing compared to colostrum.
I
It's
don't even
insane.
want to know.
Anyway, we have an upcoming episode on that we'll get to. So we're going to save
Mhm.
our words for that. But still, this is crazy. $49.95 for 90 capsules. And then it gets less as you pay for like more bottles of each. But essentially, like 40 to $50 per bottle of this supplement. That's just proprietary blend.
And if you're taking like, I'm just looking at the one bottle because that's easiest for my math to compute. Say you're eating 3 times a day, maybe, and you take one, so that's going to be like a 30-day supply. That's $50 a month.
Right.
And then if you want more, if you want to take with snacks, they just say meals, but I feel like I could easily see them be like, take it with a snack. Then you're going to take more of that. Maybe you go up to the 180, spend $45.
Or if you take it with the Go Digest, which is
Yeah,
$40 a bottle.
that is, I'm doing math very slowly in my head right now. $600, I think, a year,
Dang.
just if you spent one bottle a month.
But hey, you're going to cure your emotional eating. So could be worth it.
That's so crazy. Someone needed to be checking that AI, be like, wait.
They're just copied and pasted. I know I hadn't really dug into GoLo much until we were planning on doing this episode, and
Yeah.
I can't say I was that surprised, but I was the most surprised about all this like anti-diet language.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a
Ooh.
dietitian who has like gone rogue. They're like us. We're like so bitter about everything that they
And
just
they're
like
like,
say, screw it. I'm gonna
I'm gonna
go
make
work for the
money.
competitor. Yeah. If you can't beat them, join them, is what they were saying.
You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the enemy. And I feel like that's a dietitian.
This is gonna be us in a good 10 years, probably. We're gonna be on someone like GOLO's marketing team with just like the exact knowledge and words that we know how to use to get the right people. Just kidding, guys. We won't do that, I promise.
No, no, we unfortunately have a pretty strong moral compass.
And we have each other too. I feel like we wouldn't let each other do that.
And I think even if it got to the point like Ross and Bobby would probably intervene, they'd be like,
That's true.
at this point, they like know pretty well where we stand, even if they like say things
Ross
to make
always
us
jokes,
mad.
yes, all the time.
And I'm like, you literally know.
Ross
Why
and I
would you
have
say
this
that?
like YouTuber that we watch that we just watch because he like goes to eat different fast food things at new restaurants, and we love that.
Mhm.
Recently, he's been doing the carnivore diet. Shocker.
Interesting.
I can't watch it. It makes me so mad. And Ross knows it pisses me off. And so he turns it on all the time. He's like, oh, I just want to see what he's trying today. And then he'll like talk about his carnivore diet. And Ross is like side eyeing me and giggling under his breath. So they know. And you're totally right. They would definitely hold us accountable if we tried to.
Yeah.
Switch
If like
gears.
our morals didn't stop us, if we didn't stop each other, they're our third line of defense.
We've got lots of layers keeping us safe.
Yes. But yeah, maybe it was some like bitter dietitian who was just like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
Let's make money.
I can't blame him, honestly.
Yeah.
Our last three we've really already discussed. I'm going to just run through them. We've already really gone over
Yeah.
these. We've got, there could be unknown side effects because, again, proprietary blend, we don't really know exactly what that all entails. It says that it's safe with medications. How do they know that? You
Every
have no
single
idea
one.
what meds I'm on.
Like, it's a lot of medication.
Hello. As we said, they're not third-party tested. They do claim to be made in an NSF certified facility, but it does not mean that the actual supplement itself is tested for accuracy or safety.
Mhm.
And lastly, the proprietary blend, once again, big red flag. We're
What
just
an
like,
interesting review. This was a fun one.
this was a fun one.
This was like kind of enjoyable. I'm like, oh wow, look at them go.
We're kind of beating a dead record, but also this one was a little bit more, what's the word? Edgier than some of the other
Yeah,
ones.
this one was tricky to kind of navigate. If like only because we are so familiar with this that we can identify it, but like if you wouldn't, you'd be like, oh, what do we have here?
They have commercials too. I see the commercials all the time. Ross and I were at B-Dubs recently and I saw it on the TV. And of course, Ross made a joke about it. He's like, oh, look, your favorite show's on. Okay.
Yeah. Ugh, what a time to be alive. Well, they're just going to keep evolving and they're just going to keep giving us diet reviews to make.
That's
and we'll
true.
be here.
That's true.
chatting
We
about-
benefit in a weird roundabout way.
Yeah. I'm sure there's nicer things we could talk about, but this is what we must put our energy toward now.
At least we're having fun with it. At least today, I thought I'd turn into Wild Hannah. I did for a minute there with the whole emotional eating thing, but otherwise, this was pretty chill.
I feel like we're also getting more chill about it. Like
it's just like
we started off
what are we gonna do about
very angry, and now we're just like, oh, look at them go.
We're proud of their marketing team. Kudos to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're getting so jaded.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, leave your comments, your thoughts on the supplement and other topics you guys want to hear about in future episodes.
Yeah. And we'll catch you in the bonus question. Listen to it on Spotify. It's exclusively there. But we appreciate you guys listening. We will see you next week.
Bye, guys.